Welcome! If you have an MCQ exam on group discussions coming up, you're in the right place. In this explainer, we're going to break down everything you need to know to help you ace it. So let's get started. Here's our game plan. We've broken this down into 5 key sections. First, we'll get clear on what a group discussion actually is. Then we'll look at the keys to success. After that, we'll tackle a really critical comparison, GD versus debate. Then we'll put your knowledge to the test with some practice questions before we finish with a super focused summary of the most important facts for your exam. All right, let's dive into section 1 and start with the absolute basics. What exactly is a group discussion? So, a group discussion, or GD, is a formal chat where a group of people analyze a topic. But here's what you really need to remember. It's more than just a conversation. For an organization, it's actually a test. They're using the GD to see how you think, how you communicate, and most importantly, how well you work with other people. Every GD, no matter how simple or complex, has 4 basic building blocks. First, you have the participants. That's just the people in the group. Then you have the message, which is the information or ideas being shared. The channel is how they're communicating, which is usually face-to-face. And finally, you have feedback. Now, this one is absolutely essential. Feedback is how you know if people actually understood your point. It's the foundation of all good teamwork. So why are GDs so popular in business and academics? Well, because they get great results. They are fantastic for brainstorming new ideas, sure, but their real power is in combining different talents. One person might be great with numbers while another is more creative. A GD brings all those different skills together to find solutions that one person, working alone, probably couldn't. Okay, so now we know what a GD is and why it's used. Let's get practical. What skills do you need to show, and what rules should you follow to be successful? Okay, there are a lot of skills you could develop, but don't feel like you need to memorize this whole list. Let's boil it down. Evaluators are really looking for 4 main things: clear communication, signs of leadership, active listening, which means you're really hearing what people say, not just waiting for your turn to speak, and assertiveness. These are the qualities that show you can be a valuable part of a team. So what should you actually do in a GD? Think of this as your positive checklist. The goal isn't just to talk a lot. The real key is to listen respectfully and, when you do speak, to back up your ideas with facts. It shows you're prepared. And staying calm, even if the discussion gets a little intense, shows emotional control, a very important skill. Just as important are the things you should absolutely avoid. Think of these as the big red flags. Interrupting people, trying to dominate the conversation, or getting into an argument are pretty much the fastest ways to get a poor evaluation. Why? Because they all show you're not a team player, and that's the main skill being tested. Now we're moving on to an extremely important section for your exam, because this is where a lot of people get confused. We're going to look at the key differences between a group discussion and a debate. And here it is, your first big MCQ alert. Please pay close attention here because this is a classic exam trap. Examiners love to test if you know the difference between a GD and a debate. So let's be very clear. They are not the same thing. Let's break down exactly why. This table makes the comparison simple. First, look at their nature. A GD is cooperative. Think of it like a team trying to solve a puzzle together. A debate is competitive. It's about one side winning against the other. This changes the speaking style. In a GD, you can explore all sides of a topic, but in a debate, you have to pick one side, for or against, and stick to it. And this all leads to a different outcome. A GD tries to reach a group consensus or a shared agreement. A debate ends with a winner and a loser, usually decided by a vote. Okay, that's enough theory for now. Let's see how well you can apply these concepts. We're going to work through a couple of practice questions that are very similar to what you'll see on your exam. Here's the first one. In a group discussion, we should be A, subjective, B, dominating, C, assertive, or D, narrative. Take a moment to think about your answer. If you chose C, assertive, you are absolutely correct. But for your exam, it's not enough to know the right answer. You also need to know why the other options are wrong. So assertiveness is the perfect balance. You're confident and direct, but you're also respectful of others. Subjective is wrong because a good GD is based on facts and logic, not just personal feelings. We already know that being dominating is one of the biggest don'ts because it completely kills teamwork. And narrative is simply a style of storytelling. It's not a core personality trait that's being evaluated. All right, let's try one more. What is the primary goal of a group discussion, which makes it different from a debate? Is it A, to win an argument by a vote, B, to prove one's personal point is superior, C, to reach a group consensus, or D, to speak strictly against a topic?
And the correct answer is, once again, C, to reach a group consensus.
This question gets right to the heart of that GD versus debate difference we talked about. The correct answer, reaching a group consensus, is all about cooperation. The other three options, winning by a vote, proving you're right, and speaking only against a topic, are all signs of a competitive debate, not a collaborative discussion. And here we are at our final section. This is the high-yield exam summary. Think of this as the most important information all in one place, perfect for your final revision.
Let's boil it all down. Remember this. A GD's goal is cooperation to reach consensus. A debate's goal is competition decided by voting. The key traits you want to show are being assertive, a good listener, and a team player. The most critical do is to support your points with facts and listen. The most critical don't is to avoid interrupting or arguing. And if you forget everything else, remember this. They are evaluating your ability to work with other people.
And that's a wrap. We've covered the theory, but I'll leave you with a final question to think about. How would you actually use these skills to politely handle a group member who just won't stop interrupting? Thinking about that is how you turn theory into practice. Thanks for watching and good luck with your exam.